What I'd like to do now, Carrie, is find another specific event that we can deal with today.
As a child,
Something that, yeah, the more foundational the better, the more further back the better. But even if it isn't that, something that is really gets to you and it causes you emotional distress.
oh, okay. So this one still has to do with the shots, but I haven't thought of this one in a while. But it's a biggie for me. I was 10 or maybe 11. I had the accident. And if you recall, I was just a little bit plumper than my sister, and she was now 5 inches taller than me. Because remember, I had stopped growing. And so I had gone to my dad was taking me to doctors to try to say, look, we're identical twins, right? Something's wrong. Doctors say, yeah, whatever, she's a late bloomer. One doctor, a pediatric endocrinologist, said, your daughter is morbidly obese. She's going to have all these problems. She'll never be able to take pills to grow. It'll have to be shots. I mean, he was, I think, in his opinion, being very just forthcoming with what I needed to do. But for me, taking all this in was just, I could not believe that this man was basically, in my eyes, it looked as if you were just ruining my life right then, right there, right in the operating, his doctor's office. So it was a very, sterile surgical room that is very uncomfortable for me. And this is probably why I feel like the medical system has let me down.
Okay, so I'm gonna spit that back at you. You're 10 or 11 years old. You're now a year or two away from having the accident. Your sister has grown.
Yeah.
Your sister has grown. You haven't. You're plumper than she is. Some doctor looks at you and says, she's, I think the term was morbidly obese. She's defective in all these ways. And you're sitting there taking all this in. There's something wrong with me, something wrong with me, something wrong with me. I'm gathering from that that behind that, and this you have to verify for me, okay? Behind that is there's something wrong with me. I'm seriously defective. I must make up for it.
Yes.
Now
And
that
yes, sorry.
that last emphasis is mine, but to me, if that is true, that was what plugs into what we're dealing with. To mechanically bring resolution and peace, if you will, by sending balancing energy down the meridians. I'm just going to be quiet. I'm going to bring spiritual peace into it, resting on the fact that you and I are connected in some fashion. Some spiritual beliefs would say we're all one and this kind of thing. But I'm going to become you. I'm going to go through this and I am going to create peace in it. I'm just curious as to how that does with your response to it later on. Okay, so I'm going to do this, then you're going to test it, and we'll see. Okay, you got me? All right. Bye. I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
No, you're just sitting there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here.
All right, I'm curious. Go ahead, go back in and tell me if you're still at 8 or 9.
No, I've switched from feeling helpless and pathetic to kind of angry, which is something I don't allow myself to feel, as you know, because if Dr. August is always right, I can't make him wrong because that would make me bad. But this time it was like he wasn't right, and I lived out from under that. And anyway, so that felt stronger for me to feel kind of a sense of outrage.
Okay, well, this is a shift of aspects, if I'm hearing this right. Um,
Oh, it is?
so I didn't ask you. I probably should have what the emotion involved was when he was doing that. It was more like you were just dismayed rather than angry or
Right.
helpless.
Just helpless, like, oh, the external, there's nothing I can do on
Okay.
the inside
All right.
except for agree to this.
All right. So go back in and tell me how helpless you feel, leaving the anger aside. How helpless? Give me a number for that.
Like a 4. As you were doing it, it just kind of started to go down. And then before it continued even more, this surge of kind of, I call it outrage, but it was a nicer energy than outrage. It was more almost a sense of, what? No, I
Okay.
can do it. So what's that called?
What number would you give the anger?
An 8. It definitely took place. It kind of switched.
Okay.
The helpless went down, and then the moral outrage kind of went up.
Okay.
It was really interesting, the slide. It felt very slidey.
That's somewhat typical of how aspects show up.
Oh, okay.
Helpless starts out here, anger's in here someplace, but you're not noticing it. Okay. Helpless comes down, and now the anger becomes the more dominant one. It's an aspect of it that now shows its face, so to speak, buried underneath the helpless before. Okay, or masked, if you will. But let me tell you first of all what I did, internally, and then I'm going to deal with the anger here in a moment. But internally, I went inside. I imagined being you, and here's some doctor coming up with his view. Okay, and I'm feeling, oh my God, something's wrong with me. Da 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 da. I'm helpless, and then I feel this wave of spiritual. It's okay, Carrie, come over. Okay, it's okay, Carrie, and that I did that a handful of times. It's okay, it's okay. So we take the helpless feeling and sort of just dissipate it. So now I'm going to go back in. We're going to do some anger. We'll see what happens. Okay. All right, go inside and tell me about the anger.
Uh, Boy, I kind of got spacey there for a second. That was interesting. I I don't know if you were bringing peace or something to the situation. I was trying to hold on to the anger, which doesn't come easy for me, remember? And and it just kind of I got spacey and kind of comfortable feeling. So it was
Okay.
just like, wait, why is this a big deal? It was almost like kind of a muddled confusion, but not in a scary way. Just I don't know why are we talking about this?
Well, are we down to
Like
the?
it doesn't feel as strong. It doesn't feel as like of mine. Like I just got spacey.
Yeah. Okay. Well, from an anger point of view, though, would you be at a 2, a 4, a 0, a?
Yeah, 0. There's no anger.